I don't know exactly what my nickname or moniker should be. Perhaps the wonderful world of the internet, you find people out there listening to or watching this, can let me know what an appropriate designation is. But I think I'm really starting to brand myself as the guy who buys the teams that haven't done it yet. Because I am, of course, as I discussed yesterday, in on Texas Tech making the Big 12 championship game. I am picking Penn State, have picked Penn State to go 12-0 entering this season. And now I'm going to make it a trifecta. And I'm not doing this for a bit. This is just where it's shaking out in my head as I cover the sport and think about what these teams are going to be able to accomplish with the schedules they have in 2025. I like Texas A&M's schedule a lot. I also like Texas A&M's team. They're pretty darn good. Marcel Reed needs to be a better, more consistent passer. If that happens, don't be surprised when Texas A&M stays inside the top 20 for most of the year, flirts with a playoff berth potentially by the time the season comes to a close, and also, maybe, just maybe, pokes around at the idea of making an SEC championship game. I'm not picking them to get there. I'm not going crazy. I am going over their preseason win total of 7.5. And I only have one under so far that I've discussed on the show here in the SEC. That's Auburn. I like the Tigers under 7.5 wins this year. That's not the only under I will take. I am probably going to be the guy that fades Florida because I think they're a little overhyped. I think Ole Miss will be an under. That in due time, we'll get to them. But I'm starting things on an optimistic note. I am optimistic about Texas A&M. Pretty solid transfer portal class they brought in. Most notably, a name you just have to know, Casey Concepcion. I saw a video going around Twitter yesterday, as you're listening to or watching the show, if you're listening or watching the day it airs, and I saw John Mateer making an incredibly special throw to Deion Burks. Josh Pate tweeted about it, who was, of course, on the show recently, and I saw the throw. I watched it a couple times and thought, boy, be easy to overreact to that. How could you not? That's exciting. That's a combination. Pate tweeted that combination was going to make him do irresponsible predictions with regards to Oklahoma. He might not be the only one. Because if Mateer can make big-time throws, which he can't, he's got a big-time receiver out there on the perimeter. That you remember maybe going into last year as a big-time transfer addition, it didn't go as planned. There were injuries involved. Deion Burks, one-time transfer from Purdue, can be a game wrecker. If he's got an actual quarterback who needs an actual offensive line and an actual offensive coordinator, just those things, then the Sooners could be a pretty good team. You're going to hear a lot about that tandem. I hope you hear about how important the tandem of Marcel Reed and Casey Concepcion is. So he comes over from NC State, where the flashes and glimpses that he showed over there as a member of the Wolfpack, impressive. Speed. You ever see The Longest Yard? I love The Longest Yard. Easily my favorite Adam Sandler movie. More than Happy Gilmore, more than Billy Madison. By the way, I thought Happy Gilmore 2 was just fine. The people saying it is the worst movie ever, just stop. There were some great jokes. There were some not great jokes. There were some okay jokes. It's exactly what I thought it would be. It's perfectly fine. The best Adam Sandler movie of all time is, without a doubt, The Longest Yard. There's a scene in there where the guards are pulling a Connor Stallions on the inmates' football team. And the person who is reporting to the head guard is talking about a running back, played by Nelly, the rapper, by the way. It's awesome. And when he asks him about him, he said, "Oh, he fast. He real fast. I mean, he's so fast. I mean, he make fast people look not fast." That's how I view Casey Concepcion. This guy is fast, and he is the sort of player that gives you one-play drives. If ever there was a receiver in the SEC to give you this opportunity, Ryan Williams is going to be number one on everybody's list. KC Concepcion better not be outside of your top 5. Deion Burks can be that sort of dude, but if you let KC Concepcion get a little bit of wiggle on your corner or your safety, and he gets a free release, good luck. Good luck. So that tandem needs to be really, really good for Mike Elko and the Aggies. So let's get to the actual schedule here. I've got them going 9-3 this year. Their preseason win total, according to our friends at FanDuel, is 7.5. They start with UTSA, Utah State, and then they go at Notre Dame. If you are an everydayer of this show, thank you for being that, by the way, you may remember that I've already picked this game. And I remember these things because I keep track of it on this big, giant spreadsheet. So I make sure I don't cross my wires picking games. But I continue to think Texas A&M is going to go to Notre Dame in week 3. Phenomenal game, by the way. Anybody who craps on Notre Dame's schedule, go look at it. They got games. They play Miami. They play Texas A&M. They got 5 other ACC opponents. They play USC. That's why I have no problem with Notre Dame being an independent and getting into the playoff. They play a legit schedule. And you know what? It's one of those weird, quirky traditions in college football we have that I'm just not that upset about. There are bigger fish to fry than Notre Dame joining a conference. Anyway, Texas A&M in a revenge game with a quarterback that's more experienced than what Notre Dame will have at the time, with a head coach I really like, will go get their revenge on the road at Notre Dame. I think they win, and the Texas A&M hype train will be off and running. It'll slow towards the end of the year, but they've got some tough road games. They just do. And they have to be able, if they want to take a major step forward from where they were at a season ago, if they want to be in that 9-10 win range, they're going to have to win some tough road games. They just are. They have to go at Notre Dame. They have to go at Arkansas, which is where Tennessee last year lost on their way to the college football playoff. They have to go at LSU, at Missouri, and at Texas. It's not an easy schedule. It really isn't. But in the middle, they've got this lovely little stretch where they play Auburn, Mississippi State, and Florida. Following the big win against Notre Dame, Texas A&M will be rolling. And then a team who I really like and have power rated ahead of Texas A&M in my preseason rankings in the SEC, LSU, top-rated transfer portal class, Garrett Nussmeier. I am a big fan. I think all the love and attention, I like DJ Lagway. I really do. I really do. I like Garrett Nussmeier more. I just do. So Nussmeier is probably the most experienced quarterback in the SEC. I don't know that there's one that we'd care about. Diego Pavia would have to be in that fold, but I think we all like Nussmeier more than Pavia, who's solid. No disrespect. Pavia has done some amazing things in college football, and his legend will live forever on this particular program. But at LSU, I'll take that to be Texas A&M's first loss. Their second loss, I think they then go on the road and win at Missouri. I do. I am not that high in Missouri. I haven't been the last couple of years. They've benefited from a really easy schedule. They've been a good team. I'm not here to tell you they've been horrifically bad. Texas A&M beat their brains in last season. I don't think Missouri's done enough to close the gap. When you look at what Texas A&M has done this offseason, I think that they go to Columbia and win. Then another team from Columbia, that being South Carolina, of course, will go to College Station, and I'm sorry. I like the Gamecocks there. I think that's a good, competitive, go-either-way game, but I like Shane Beamer on game days. I'm a big Lenora Sellers fan. I love South Carolina's roster, and those quarterbacks could be very different at that point in the year in their third-to-last game of the regular season. They could be very different in that game than what they are in week 1 because they'll have gotten so much necessary experience under their belts. Those are a couple of incredibly dynamic playmakers behind center. I'll take South Carolina. Samford then, I, of course, think Texas A&M wins, and then they go at Texas. I love that rivalry is back so very much. Texas won on the road last year. Texas is at home. I like the Longhorns quite a bit, and I'm taking them to win in that particular spot. So that's one way I can see Texas A&M getting to 9-3. I think Mike Elko is a real good coach. I do think within the next 3 years, he'll make an SEC championship game, something Jimbo Fisher just flat out wasn't able to do. But Elko's got a top 10 recruiting class in the 2025 cycle, recruiting well again in 2026. They used the portal well. They came in and had a good first season. He's got one of the most underrated offensive coordinators in the country in Colin Klein. Yes, Kansas State legend Colin Klein. I like where Texas A&M is headed. I think they take a step forward this year. Interested to see what their schedule looks like next year. I don't think this one's a murderer's row. I don't think it's a cupcake schedule either. But overall, the Aggies are a program that if you took away the brand that everyone has these negative associations with, you'd say, oh, they're ripe to take a step forward. I believe in Texas A&M to an extent. But over 7.5, I do like that one. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.